In today's world, you need an amazing website to make a real impact for your company. After all, a good first impression can make or break your business. TheSoftCode.com is your one-stop shop for all your needs. They specialize in professional web design and development. Their mission is to improve their clients' online footprint by creating better user experiences. TheSoftCode.com offer custom web design services, including branding, e-commerce, mobile app development, search engine optimization, and a whole lot more. TheSoftCode.com has a step-by-step process to ensure you are completely satisfied. Visit their website right now and learn what they can do for you. TheSoftCode.com.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome to the program, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Okay, so Joy Reid has just completely gone insane.
Yeah.
I mean, she's just, Joy Reid from MSNBC. She's just completely gone insane. And I'm going to play a clip in just a bit. She was talking about Elon Musk, but let me give you some background. Elizabeth Warren, who has been very guilty of racial appropriation, and some may even say fraud. She's been passing herself off as a Native American Indian for her entire adult life. It is not true. We had on this program the genealogist, the official genealogist for the Cherokee Nation, who researched Elizabeth Warren's entire background, and there is no connection to any Native Americans in any part of her family. And it's just a complete fraud.
And this was, by the way, before Elizabeth Warren did the DNA test, before she came out and actually admitted
that she
lied. That she lied. This was way before that.
So Elizabeth Warren went after Elon Musk. The liberals, they think that Elon Musk doesn't pay enough in taxes. Now, I don't know what he pays. No one knows what he pays. Now, so far as income tax is the least of what Elon Musk pays. Elon Musk buys and spends so much money, creates so many jobs. He put the American manned space program back in business, which creates maybe tens of thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands of jobs. So Elon Musk is generating more tax revenue than could even be accounted for in many, many different ways.
Well, and another thing he's done on top of what you said, this is why I don't understand their hostility. He has single-handedly made electric cars cool. Before he came along with the Tesla, electric cars were not doing well with the American public. People were not into electric cars. You had the Prius, which was a hybrid. But his company really put electric cars on the map, and he really catapulted that whole industry. So they should be thanking him, because that is what they're all behind, is electric cars. And without Tesla, I don't think that would be happening right now.
Yeah, I mean, he is.
So I don't get it.
He has done so many great things, and I'm a big supporter of SpaceX. I was just at NASA not that long ago. I have a vlog where I was at NASA on my YouTube channel. You guys could check that out. And he's just a cool dude. So Elizabeth Warren was going after him. He's not paying enough in taxes. So she says, I guess she's a multimillionaire. So I guess she takes zero deductions. She doesn't take any tax deductions. You think, Elizabeth Warren? Give me a break.
I know.
Give me a break. And I saw her get off a private jet again the other day, and all of that. Who paid for that?
Exactly.
Yeah, what's that all about? Woman of the people, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, Elon Musk was very clever. He called her Senator Karen, and asked. He said, "I hope you're not going to report me to the manager." You guys know what that's all about.
I wonder which nickname do you like best? Because Pocahontas is a lot of fun, but I kind of like Senator Karen.
I like Senator Karen,
I think that's pretty funny.
Yeah, I like Senator Karen.
They're both good. Tell us in the comments which nickname do you prefer, Pocahontas or Senator Karen for Elizabeth Warren?
Yeah, so Joy Reid over at MSNBC, I want to play this clip now. She goes after Elon Musk, accuses him of something, and she is so far up Elizabeth Warren's rear end. She had her on the show the other day. She's always sucking up to Elizabeth Warren for some reason. And Joy Reid should be really upset with Elizabeth Warren for pretending to be a minority her entire adult life. So let me play this. This is Joy Reid talking about the Elizabeth Warren, Elon Musk spat.
Elon wasn't happy, so he did what he always did and stomped his little feet and insulted Senator Warren, calling her an angry mom and referring to her as Senator Karen. So for so many reasons, being a freeloader and a selfish and disrespectful one, and for misappropriating black vernacular for misogynistic purposes, Elon Musk is the absolute worst. Meanwhile, Senator Warren...
Okay, so
how is he a freeloader?
I guess because he's not paying enough taxes according to... Now, this is a thing about this Karen thing. I've said for a while, I first heard of this Karen thing, not that long ago. I don't remember when. But Karen, I have believed, is a racial slur towards white women. It is something that people use towards white women. I believe it is like the N-word. It is a racial slur.
Well, she's admitting it right there.
And yeah, Joy Reid just confirmed what I've been saying for a long time about this, that it is an African-American term for white people, which means it is racist and racial and directed towards people based on race. So that's racism, Joy Reid. And the other thing is, she said he's appropriate. She is very, very. She may have lost her mind, but she's not totally stupid, Joy Reid. What she said. Let me go back and play this, because then she said something here about it I thought was interesting. Very clever for her.
Wasn't happy, so he did what he always did and stomped his little feet and insulted Senator Warren, calling her an angry mom and referring to her as Senator Karen. So for so many reasons, being a freeloader and a selfish and disrespectful one, and for misappropriating black vernacular from his...
Misappropriating black vernacular. Now, Joy, this is an interesting thing. She's very clever with her words. You may not think she's clever. I'm not saying she's generally clever, but she chose her words very carefully here. Black vernacular is not what Joy Reid typically would say, because it's African American. And in this instance, she didn't say African American. She said black. And the reason she said black and not African American is because Elon Musk is indeed an African American.
True.
Elon Musk was born in South Africa. He is now a U.S. citizen. That makes Elon Musk an African American. In fact, he is the wealthiest African American, Elon Musk.
I think he should put that in his Twitter profile. African American.
And like if he were applying for a job, he could mark on the application for race African American.
I told you today, we were talking about it at lunch, and I said, if he came out and said that, what you're saying,
that he's African
American and owned it, I said, you just wait. Within weeks, there'll be a new term for us to use in referencing black Americans. It'll be something like tribal something.
I don't know.
They'll say he appropriated that phrase, and now they have to come up with a new phrase. It's here's what it's all about. Joy Reid is a bigot. She hates white people. That's obvious. She doesn't like gay people either from her Twitter, her tweets. Sure. But she does not like white people. And like you said, she's in this bubble of people that also hate white people. And she's not living outside of that bubble currently. And she's really become very ensconced in that world. And it's really made her a very angry. I think those seeds were always there with her. But hanging around with these people, these professors, these well-paid, highly educated people that keep talking about how oppressed all the black people are. Well, they've all gone to Harvard, including her. But all they do is sit there and talk about, how oppressed the black people are while they have their Ivy League educations and $1 million homes. But they sit there, and I think they just all sit around and drink tea and whatever and just talk about how oppressed they are and how horrible white people are in this country. And I think it's because her anger, to me, it's always been there, but in the last few years, it seems really amped up more than normal.
Well, since she got
something's going on.
Well, eventually, I know this sounds impossible based on the craziness that's happened, but eventually Joy Reid is going to go over the line because she's getting worse all the time.
True.
She's getting more outrageous. She's getting more openly racist on television, and she's eventually going to go too far,
like Bashir
or Fredo over on CNN or something.
It happens,
and she's going to go after the wrong person, and she's going to get into trouble. But I think Elon Musk is cool, and I think most people do too. And if she doesn't like him, well, that's the way it is. Now,
I think he's very cool, and I think he just laughs at her, and I don't think he really gives a damn.
No,
what
he's
she
very
thinks.
funny. He's trolled Elizabeth Warren brilliantly.
He just thinks
he's
it's
very,
funny.
very smart. Okay, now I want to play this clip of Dr. Oz. You know, everyone likes Dr. Oz. You know, he does a TV show and all that. Now he's running for Senate in Pennsylvania, even though I understand he doesn't live in Pennsylvania.
Huh?
You don't have to live in the state.
Is he from there, though?
I don't know where he's from. I don't know.
Maybe he's from there.
But you don't. Congress makes the laws, and they make the laws to benefit them. You do not have to live in your district if you're in the House. You don't even have to live in your state.
Well, Hillary wasn't from New York.
No, but she did establish residency there. They bought that house in Chappaqua. But if you live in New York, you can run for Congress in Florida. You can run for Congress in Nevada.
That's crazy.
Congress makes the laws, and they make the laws to benefit them.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, Dr. Oz, you know, a lot of people get excited about Dr. Oz, which is really a crazy thing because we really don't know anything about Dr. Oz.
No, we don't.
I don't even really – I'd have to look him up to find out what his real name is. Mehmet or something.
Mehmet Oz.
Oz.
I do know that he was defending a lot of stuff that Trump was defending during when the pandemic first broke, and he was on Trump's side with a lot of things.
He was saying some – I used to see him
Republican.
on television. I think it was on Fox. He was on Fox pretty much every day during the height of the pandemic, and he was making sense then. But we don't really know anything about him. And I've heard a lot of mixed things involving the Second Amendment and abortion.
Yeah. He kind of plays both sides. He's kind of vague. Well, I think that's what a lot of people don't like about him.
You can be vague when you're a TV doctor. You cannot be vague when you're running for Congress. No. And by the way, the Senate is one house of the Congress. A lot of people think there's congressmen, and then the Senate. There's members of the House of Representatives and senators. They're both part of Congress.
Right.
Amazing. Well, you know, the liberals. But anyway. This is a clip. He did an interview on Fox.
I saw this.
And he was talking about abortion and when life begins. And Dr. Oz refused to give an answer as to when life begins. Let me play this.
Well, and he's a doctor, so you would think he would have a definite opinion on this.
Yeah, let me play this.
Being a medical doctor.
This was on Fox yesterday. Or it might have been this morning, but it was this week.
Position as both a doctor and a senatorial candidate on when life begins. When should we draw the line when abortion is legal?
As a doctor, I appreciate the sanctity of life. And for that reason, I'm strongly pro-life. With the three exceptions I've mentioned, that's how I would vote.
Okay, now I didn't hear the part with the three exceptions. I'm sure rape, incest, life of the mother typically is what they say.
Typical three.
And that's really a vague way to be because that's just as checking off something on a form. It doesn't actually you don't say that you're pro-life except in rape, incest. By the way, incest is rape too.
Yeah.
Or the life of the mother. A woman doesn't have to go to court and prove that she was raped, a victim of incest, or even that her life is in danger. She just has to check it off, write it down on the form.
Well, before you continue,
that's kind of like a coward's way out of that position.
Typically, what happens, and I've never experienced this, but I'm just saying, typically, what happens from what I've read and seen, if a woman is raped, she would go to the hospital. And they do a rape kit, and they would do a DNC right away, which is where they'd clean out the uterus, so there would be no pregnancy. That's typically what a woman would do to avoid that issue, to avoid a pregnancy going even further. So I don't know how, people use that saying. To me, when you say something like that, well, in cases of rape, incest, or obviously a mother's life, to me, that's kind of a way of a back out. I think he should stick to his convictions because I don't think he really believes this. I think he should say, I'm pro-life and I would vote for pro-life no matter what. That's how I feel. Life is life.
Well, I'll play the rest of it, but it could be he just really hasn't talked about these issues outside of these celebrity circles that he is in, and he's never had to take a firm position. Let me start it over. We'll play the whole thing.
Okay.
Position as both a doctor and a senatorial candidate on when life begins. When should we draw the line when abortion is legal?
As a doctor, I appreciate the sanctity of life. And for that reason, I'm strongly pro-life. With the three exceptions I've mentioned, that's how I would vote.
And when does that life begin?
Again, if I'm pro-life, then it's a decision that comes back to the sanctity of when you think life does begin. And I believe it begins when you're in the mother's womb.
When you're in the mother's womb, but that carries you all the way up to 9 months of pregnancy.
No, of course not. Life's already started when you're in your mother's womb. But it's a rat hole to get trapped in the different ways of talking about it. We need, as a nation, to make sure the Constitution is appropriately followed, and people like me, and you may be in the same camp, who are pro-life, have our feelings respected. And this is something that should not be taken away from us by judiciary legislating from the bench.
Yeah, but that's also something that's going to have to be legislated, and that answer is going to have to be given specific.
I have no clue what he means. Do you?
I don't know if Dr. Oz knows what he means, and I don't know
what the hell he's talking about.
I'm not saying Dr. Oz is a bad guy.
No,
I just think he's too wishy-washy on the opinions, and he's really not someone that we should be supporting. And I'll tell you, he may get some like political consultants working for him, and then all of a sudden he'll have firm answers on everything. Maybe. But I don't know if I would trust Dr. Oz if he all of a sudden had firm answers on gun control and this.
Yeah, it seems to me almost like he took a crash course in how to speak politics. And I saw another interview with him, and he's speaking like a politician, or what he thinks a politician should sound like. I think he's been thinking about this for a while, and he's had some consultants coach him. And I wish, because I like Dr. Oz, I wish he would just be himself and have the courage of his convictions instead of trying to sound like a politician. Because from what I've seen, from what I've read online, nobody likes Dr. Oz now.
Yeah.
On either side. The liberals, of course, because they say he's a Trump guy, but even conservatives and Trump people are not happy with him. I don't, because they're like, he's not taking a stand
on anything.
He sounds too
he's
political
on both sides
now.
of every issue.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell he just said there. He spoke in a more confusing way than Obama. Remember, Obama kind of used to be that way.
Yeah.
Would speak in a way, and you'd come away like, wait a minute, what was he talking about?
Vague generalities.
This was very much like that, and I came away from that very confused. Like, well, what exactly the hell do you mean here?
Now, today, I got a call from a listener on the radio today who bought 20 My Pillows for people to give away as Christmas gifts.
You're joking.
For people on Christmas. No, about 20 My Pillows.
They'll be very happy.
And, there's for 20 different people on his Christmas gift-giving list. Very nice. And, of
Great
course,
gift.
He used our promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, which is greatly appreciated.
Awesome.
And, the My Pillow, the way that this patented fill works inside the My Pillow is absolutely amazing. What that patented fill does is it doesn't just fit your head and neck perfectly. It stops you from tossing and turning your head at night. And when you toss and turn your head at night, even though you may not be aware of it, you're waking up, and it's like having sleep apnea. And that's one of the reasons you get a full rested night's sleep.
Yeah,
and
you wake up a lot.
And if you go to mypillow.com, click on the radio listener specials, the regular price for the My Pillow was $69.98. That's what we paid for mine because we bought mine before My Pillow and Mike Lindell was sponsoring the program. With our promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E, not $69.98, but $19.98. This is the lowest price ever on the My Pillow, and it comes in a perfect package to wrap. And you can also send the gift to the recipient to their house as opposed to your own. Now, when you go to mypillow.com, whatever special you see, no matter what it is, you can take advantage of it with our promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. The one special that you don't want to miss, because this will be disappearing without notice, and that is on the 3-inch mattress topper. When you go to mypillow.com, click on the radio listener specials. With our promo code, you can get the 3-inch My Pillow mattress topper, the thickest mattress topper that Mike Lindell makes,
amazing,
for 50% off. 50% off. It's the lowest price they will ever offer this for, and it will go away without notice. So go to mypillow.com, click on the radio listener specials, promo code KANE, K-A-N-E. We'll be right back after this.
There's nothing like a beautiful piece of handcrafted jewelry. Jewelry that makes a statement and looks amazing when it's worn. Zod Jewelry on Etsy understands the power of jewelry. They handcraft gold pieces using beautiful gemstones that bring sparkle and magic into your life. Zod Jewelry have an incredible variety to choose from. Whether you're looking for necklaces, rings, earrings, bracelets, or pendants, they have items made with gold, silver, emeralds, diamonds, moissanite, and more. These pieces are perfect no matter your style or occasion. They have vintage and modern looks too. The owner of Zod Jewelry graduated from GIA, which is the world's most renowned and respected institution in the field of jewelry and gemstones. And now she's bringing her expertise to you. Check out her shop right now. Zod Jewelry on Etsy. Etsy.com/shop/Zod Jewelry. That's Etsy.com/shop/Zod Jewelry. From author Roger Schaefer comes the book COVID-26 Zombie, available on Amazon. This book was actually completed in late 2019, prior to a lot of the events that are occurring right now in today's world. This must-read book was intended to show how the 1% are in total control, and the 1% wanted everything, but at a cost that was never imagined. Yet, this book imagined it all. That dream of the perfect world, according to the 1%, a world which only the 1% matter. As for the remaining humans, they would have no rights or freedom, living in dystopia and under the complete control of the 1%. That didn't happen. Instead, mankind has created not one, but two new species that are Z and zombies. Z to a zombie is similar to a relationship of a dog to a human, since fear has been used to control humans since the beginning of time. Fear is the second most powerful tool to use against people. The only thing more powerful than fear is hope. Hope is the one and only thing more powerful than fear. COVID-26 Zombie from author Roger Schaefer is available on Amazon in Kindle, paperback, and audiobook. Order your copy right now. Have you wanted to get involved in investing but didn't know how or even where to begin? Then visit ExoticExpansion.com. ExoticExpansion.com offer financial education and tools to help users just like you grow financially. And don't worry if you're busy at work. They will send you stock signals through text and Discord, so you just follow their calls on when to buy and sell. It's that easy. They offer monthly and yearly membership levels to fit your budget. Membership includes one-on-one coaching, full-time advice, and stock calls. There's a members area where you can view their weekly picks, have access to their top 20 verified stock picks that always are updating, as well as a net worth tracker, and there's a lot more too. ExoticExpansion.com's goal is to provide you with the education that will enable you to achieve your financial goals. ExoticExpansion.com also have an app that's available in the Android store. ExoticExpansion.com. Crypto, stocks, Discord, tech signals, long and short-term trading, value investing, options, and financial education. It's all at ExoticExpansion.com.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Now, I want to play this last clip before we get into some of the other news stories. This is from Libs of TikTok, and it was nice. Eric Bolling had the person behind the Libs of TikTok Twitter account.
What a great idea. Why can't we come up with a great idea like that?
Well, we have great ideas like this podcast.
Yeah, I know, but that's a great idea, really.
But Libs of TikTok, the person behind Libs of TikTok was on Eric Bolling last week, and I was surprised it is a woman.
Yeah.
And she didn't show herself, which is very smart. She kept her identity unknown. She was on the phone. She was with Eric Bolling on Newsmax.
She knows how crazy these libs are.
And she sounds young. And, there are so many young conservatives now, because of Donald Trump, this young MAGA. And if you're not familiar with Libs of TikTok on Twitter, it's amazing. What the person behind it does is go through all these different things all day of liberals saying and doing things on TikTok and then taking the video and putting it on their Twitter, which is Libs of TikTok, which I follow.
It's really good.
And I'm just going to play this one. This is a person, I don't know where they're located because they don't say, but they have moved to a new town and they feel unsafe.
Oh.
This is a liberal. They moved to a new town. They feel unsafe because they are triggered by something that's making them feel unsafe. So let me play this and then they'll tell you what has them feeling unsafe.
So I just moved to the suburbs from San Francisco. Everything looks a little bit pale orange because California is on fire. So that's that. But what really makes me feel unsafe here is the vast amount of American flags I see. Like, I walked around like a 3, 4, 5 block radius. And I saw so many American flags, and that makes me feel so unsafe. Like,
That can't be real.
I'm afraid of the people here.
No, it's real. I watched the video.
Sad.
It's scary. It is real. And it's an interesting thing because they moved from San Francisco to another part of California where they have American flags. So those of you that listen to the program in California, maybe you could let us know some guesses as to what part of California has American flags all over. I don't know. But this is a sad thing for many ways. It's a sad statement on our country. Here's someone who is gay from San Francisco. And being gay is no big deal today. It's accepted everywhere. Gay people can get married. Gay people are open all over. In fact, Newsmax just made they added someone to their executive board as vice president who is gay and openly gay, Rick Grinnell, who worked for President Trump. Being gay is totally accepted now. People have the rainbow flags and all this on everything. Nobody cares. And someone that's gay in America, the American flag shouldn't make them feel unsafe. They should feel very safe because in other parts of the world, like Afghanistan now, if this person were to go to Afghanistan now, they would be executed without trial. And other places around the world too. There is no place in this world that is more diverse than the United States. We have every sexuality. We got all these genders now. Every ethnicity is here and in every aspect of government.
Well, I think he'll find in his new neighborhood that everybody's nice and welcomes him with open arms. And that's why it's so important, if you're a conservative and if you especially support Trump, it is so important to treat people with kindness and respect and not not fit into that mold that the media puts us into.
Yeah.
Don't act that way, the way the media makes us out to be, which is, hostile and bigoted and all. That's what they're all about. It's really important for us to represent ourselves properly and to be kind to people, even though they might have different lifestyles than you. And I think most people that are conservatives do. And I think most people that are Trump supporters, remember there was somebody when Trump was having a rally, this was a while ago, and there was a guy who was at the rally and he was with a bunch of people protesting, right? And he decided to walk over to the rally to the people waiting in line. And he introduced himself and he had like a shirt that made, he didn't like Trump. And he admitted, he said, the people here waiting in line are treating me nicer than the people at the protest that I'm with. And that's the way you have to be because, if you act that way, and it should be sincere and honest, but if you act that way and you're kind to somebody, you're going to break down those walls that the media and the liberals have put up. And they're going to think of you differently. And they're going to realize they've been brainwashed and lied to. And they're going to say, you know what? These people are nice people. Like Matt Damon did that movie. And he's a big liberal, right? He's had this image of Trump people. He did a movie called Stillwater or something.
Oh, yeah, it's his new movie. Yeah.
And came out a year or so ago. And he went and lived with people in Oklahoma to do research for this story. And he lived with and hung around with Trump people. And he said many, many times on many, many interviews, and he got a lot of heat for it. He said these were very nice people. It totally blew his mind that these Trump people were kind. He said they welcomed me into their homes. They cooked for me. He said they were kind. He said I couldn't believe it. He was genuinely shocked that Trump people were nice.
Yeah.
Because they believe the BS that they hear from the media.
Right, that they're bigots.
And when they really get out of their bubble and go and actually meet people and realize these are nice, good people, it really is earth-shattering.
Yeah. I agree with that. And it's really a sad thing that this person feels that way about the American flag.
The media just divides
this
people.
person would not be able to walk around openly gay like this in so many countries around the world. It's illegal.
I mean, that's just sad to me that
total brainwashing.
Somebody would that is a pure example of complete brainwashing, and it makes me concerned about this younger generation because they've really been brainwashed to have a certain opinion about America. It's so bad. Yeah. And people in this country, it's like for the first time, I feel like all this division is actually gaining ground and really taking root.
It seems that way sometimes.
You know what I mean? There's always been the media and politicians trying to divide people. But it seems in the last 5 years or so since Trump came along, that these divisions and these beliefs are really taking root with people, and they're really taking it to heart, and they really believe what they're being told. You're being lied to, okay? You're being lied to.
Now,
so don't fall for it.
I want to thank our Patreon supporters for their support of the program. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It means a lot. It helps us out a lot, and your support of the show is very much appreciated by both of us, and I also know by listeners who are not necessarily Patreon supporters appreciate your support because you do help keep the show going. And becoming a Patreon supporter, it's a great way to support the program. There's a link in the description of this and every episode to our Patreon page, as well as a direct link on my website, briancraigshow.com. And the direct website address is patreon.com/realbriancraigshow. Patreon.com/realbriancraigshow. And I want to thank our top Patreon supporters who get a live on-air thank you shout out on each and every episode. I want to thank Andrew and Connie, Christine, Gary, ETW, Chuck, Rick, Rich, Nick, Dee, Pamela, and Jacqueline. These are our top Patreon supporters. Thank you so much for your support. And also, we want to give an update on Sarah. Now, Sarah, one of our listeners, went with us on our last listener cruise. She's been in the hospital. It'll be 3 weeks on Sunday with COVID.
No, it's been
a month.
It'll be a month on
it'll be
Sunday,
a month.
I think.
Yeah,
I think
yes, it'll be a month.
Sunday.
Yeah, I stand
that's
corrected.
crazy.
A month Sunday, she will have been in the hospital.
Yeah.
And the update is we really haven't gotten an update in a few days.
It's been about 4 days.
Yeah.
The last update I got was from her cousin saying that she was doing better. She's on a ventilator. Her oxygen needs were less, which is good. But I've heard that before, and then it would get bad, and then it get good. It's a roller coaster. You're good one day, you're bad the next. You're good, so I emailed them or I texted them yesterday. There's no new updates, so I'll probably text her mom again tonight. I have not heard anything, so I'm assuming it's just still going on.
Nothing to report.
Nothing, unfortunately. I haven't heard.
Yeah, nothing new to report. But, I know a lot of you are praying for her. Continue to do that.
Keep doing that.
And and a lot of people are contacting me and asking me about Sarah. And as we get updates, I always tell you guys everything that's going on. Jonah Goldberg, you remember this jerk? He's this never Trumper Republican. Remember him and another guy left Fox, and nobody even noticed. Over the Jonah Goldberg. This is in Mediaite, which is a liberal online publication. This is their headline: Jonah Goldberg reveals huge share of Fox pundits are dishonest about their Trump support. Well, name some names, Jonah Goldberg, because I'd like to know. Here's the thing with this, okay? Because I've noticed, in particular this week, but I've noticed lately that there's a lot of never Trumpers really coming out of the woodwork lately. Mm-hmm. I mean, a lot. They're coming out in mass.
Like who?
I've been bombarded on the radio with callers from never Trumpers, and I use this example on the radio this morning, and it's most of these never Trumpers are liars. Okay, they're Democrats. Okay, most of them are Democrats. Jonah Goldberg's not a Democrat; he's a Republican establishment never Trumper. But most of them are fake Democrats. I mean, they're Democrats that are fake MAGA. And when Air America Radio, the liberal radio network, went on the air, this was like in 2004. It's been a long time. Mm-hmm. Every other caller was a Republican. This was when George W. Bush was running for re-election against John Kerry. And every other caller was someone who had voted Republican their whole life. They voted for Ford. Some of them voted for Eisenhower. They all voted for Reagan. They even voted for George W. Bush the first time, but he's gone too far, and I'm going to vote for John Kerry. I'm going to vote Democrat. All fake, fake. They're all Democrats. What we have going on now are people that are being very vocal on social media, online, calling me on the radio, who are fake MAGA. Mm-hmm. Most of them are Democrats, pretending to be conservatives, pretending to be MAGA, and what they're trying to do is create a narrative, a false narrative, but create a narrative that Republican voters are fed up with Trump and don't want him to be the nominee. I'll tell you one person in particular I've heard from the last 2 days on the radio at the same time. These are seminar callers. We used to talk about seminar callers. Woman called yesterday from New Jersey, Republican, voted for Trump. She's not going to do it again. She doesn't want him to be the nominee. She's got some problems with him. And so I went through her problems. They were all liberal lies. And that was fine. Then she called back today at the same time, and she started the call. Is it okay to call and be critical of Donald Trump? So, you should
tell her no. It's not okay.
Yeah. Well,
not on my show.
Well, I didn't do that today because I knew what she was all about, and I talked to her. She's a fake MAGA, although she swears that she's MAGA.
So what does that tell you all these seminar callers coming about?
It's telling me that the Democrats and the Republican establishment are in a panic.
That's right.
They're in a panic.
They're freaking out.
And what's going on here is they have no nominee in 2024.
Yeah. It's psychops.
And this is what's going on. Okay? And I don't think anyone has said this yet. And I'm not saying I'm the first one that's thought it. But what I'm about to theorize here...
We do say a lot of firsts on this show.
Yeah, what I'm about to openly theorize here on the program, I don't think anyone has said it. In fact, it just popped in my mind a few minutes ago.
Oh, okay,
so
that's
this is like...
divine intervention.
Immediate wisdom. You're getting it live in real time, this wisdom. But no, but this is what's going on, okay? Joe Biden's poll numbers are in the toilet.
Yeah.
He's not even a year in. And in the first year of a new president in office is the honeymoon phase. They're supposed to have huge numbers.
Yeah.
It's the second year they start hating him.
Right.
And his poll numbers are in the toilet. So bad that they're talking about not running him. Him not running. And he's got all kinds of excuses. His
According
age.
to Psaki, he's going to run.
Yeah, well, she said, yeah. But they've got no one because they can't. The Democrats have no hope. If they don't run Biden, they are obligated to run Kamala because she's the sitting vice president.
Oh, please do.
If they passed her over.
Please do.
If they passed her over, it'd be devastating. They're not running their one-term president. They're not running their vice president. It'd be devastating for them. Here is what the Democrats are doing. And that's why I'm hearing from all these seminar callers and you're hearing these never-Trumpers come out of their rat holes, okay? They're like Saddam Hussein in that hole with the cooler top on top of it. Remember when he was hiding? Yeah. He had that styrofoam cooler covering the hole in the ground. That's where the never-Trumpers dwell. But it's true. It's true. This is what they've realized. The Democrats have no hope in 2024. None. So what they're trying to do is push upon us some John McCain, Mitt Romney-like Republican. Rhino.
That'll play ball.
Yes, so that we will support a rhino.
Yeah.
Because they figure, who are they going to vote for, the rhino or Kamala? They'll vote for the rhino. And then the Democrats will have some, I don't know who the rhino will be.
Maybe Mitt Romney.
I don't know about that.
Maybe he's going to run again.
You never know.
Would you be shocked?
No, but they're going to try to force upon us some rhino Republican that will play ball with the Democrats and do all their agenda and do the establishment agenda. And they think, see, like Matt Damon was shocked at how nice the MAGA people are. Democrats and the Republican establishment, like Jonah Goldberg, this Weekly Standard snobby crowd that hang out at expensive golf clubs, they think we're stupid, ignorant white trash, MAGA. Okay, that's how they view us.
Yeah.
And they think they can have some Mitt Romney rhino type versus Kamala, and we'll vote for them because, they're not going to vote for Kamala. They're going to have to vote for the Mitt Romney rhino. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. But the Democrats are working with the establishment. They know the Democrat ticket's done. They're trying to push upon us some rhino Republican, fake Republican, never Trumper that'll play ball with the Democrats, and they think we're stupid enough to fall for that. That's what's going on here.
But Brian, I think that's happened many times.
But Trump wasn't on the scene before. I've
always felt, and you've said this before, that DC is one party, and they put up who they want to put up, and they put up people where they can live with either one. You know what I mean? They put up two candidates that either one of them will play ball with them. And I mean, when Obama was president, do you remember the Republicans doing anything to
just helping
contradict him? No, because they're all part of the same crappy party, and which is the party against Americans. And so I feel that they would just put up anybody on either side, and it was all a ruse. And either one of the people that won would play along and do what they wanted to do. Here's the deal. Trump's going to run again, and he's going to get the nomination, and he's probably going to win. and they know this, and they're really desperate. And I wanted to talk about this thing with
we'll do that in the
Adam
next segment.
Schiff. Yeah, that things are falling apart once again for the liberals. They got caught with their hand in the cookie jar, or Adam Schiff did once again.
Yeah, now listen, we're going to take a break. We got a lot more to talk about. Don't go anywhere. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We'll be back right after this.
Have you ever dreamed of being wealthy using real estate? If you answered yes, there's a podcast you will want to add to your playlist. Big Fat Real Estate Checks, hosted by Marco Kozlowski. Available on all podcast platforms. It's a podcast about investing in U.S.-based multifamily real estate. If you want to replace your JOB income with passive income for life, host Marco Kozlowski's proprietary systems and processes can help you get there. And you don't necessarily need money or credit to do it. Marco has been in real estate for over 20 years and has learned lessons, horror stories, and an entertaining and fun way of teaching you how to win the game of cash flowing real estate without breaking the bank, without risk, and without using any of your credit. He has hundreds of successful students who used his systems and processes to replace their income and retire. Check it out today and learn from Marco. His podcast is filled with valuable information that you can actually use. You will learn how to build real, generational wealth. No get-rich schemes here. At Big Fat Real Estate Checks with host Marco Kozlowski to your playlist right now. Available wherever you listen to podcasts. From author Bob C. comes the book Dad, winner of the 2021 IAN Book of the Year Awards for literary and general fiction, and a 2021 Indie Reader Discovery Award winner, available on Amazon. In Dad, Jacob Martin's life isn't going well. His marriage is falling apart. His job is on the border of legal and illegal, and he's living in what could generously be described as a dump. Now Dad, whose memory and mental faculties aren't exactly what they once were, has decided to drive from Cincinnati to Colorado for a surprise visit. At least that was the plan, until John got lost along the way. Forced into an unplanned road trip to retrieve his father, Jacob finds love, enlightenment, and ultimately himself along the way. This book is perfect for book clubs. Dad, from author Bob C. Available in Kindle and paperback on Amazon. Order your copy right now. Imagine if you could combine your love of crypto with just about any vanity or lifestyle theme. Well, now you can at StellarShop.org. Stellar Shop brings themes to life in cryptocurrency and is the originator of vanity and lifestyle money in the new and exciting world of cryptocurrency. Align your money with causes you care about, like dolphins and sea turtles or anything in between. From Woodstock to medbeds, they have over 100 to choose from, so you can buy, sell, trade, or swap crypto on the Stellar XLM network. Stellar Shop also has over 20 charity themes that benefit from your usage. Grab your favorite Stellar wallet and join the revolution and the future of money through blockchain quantum finance. Stellar Shop also sets up custom-made business crypto and payment systems for any business. Get in on the crypto craze, and maybe you can be the one telling that next crazy crypto story. Visit StellarShop.org today for vanity and lifestyle crypto assets. That's StellarShop.org.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. You remember a couple weeks ago, I think I talked about this on the show. It was a Saturday or a Sunday morning. I can't remember what morning it was. And I was up at like 4 a.m, and our daughter was up. And I told her, I said, let's go to IHOP. And we went to 2 different IHOPs at 5 a.m. in different parts of town. And I was shocked. They were both closed. Mm-hmm. Both of them. The lights were off, everything. And I always thought that IHOP was open 24 hours a day. Well, I saw this on Twitter today, and it was an IHOP in Arkansas that was closed, and they put a note on the door. And this was the note they put on the door. This is at an Arkansas IHOP. Due to the fact that Biden gave out way too much free money and nobody wants to work anymore, we are forced to reduce our hours during the week, Monday through Friday, open at 7 a.m., close at 5 p.m.
Wow.
And
that's what it is. It's
Yeah.
They sit here and tell you, and they won't tell you the big secret why people aren't going to work. The big secret is because the government is paying them to stay home. It's
amazing.
still going on.
And,
they want them on the dole.
Yeah. And we have been to restaurants that can't even serve you food because they don't have enough people to make it and serve the food.
That's true.
And this thing at IHOP, that's why the IHOPs we went to that morning a couple weeks ago were closed. They don't have enough people that are willing to work at these jobs anymore. And it's really a great time if you're one of these types of workers because they're paying a lot more money now.
Hobby Lobby is going to pay $18.50 an hour.
Oh my goodness, really?
That's great. The minimum wage is like $7.25 nationally.
Yeah.
That is nuts.
That's insane.
More than double.
That's insane. And I don't know.
They need workers.
What all the reasons are. I don't know if people are still getting unemployment for.
Yeah, I think that's a big problem.
I don't know what's going on.
That's part of it. They're still getting money from the government, and they're making more sitting on their butt at home doing nothing. The government wants people on the dole, and I believe the liberals want to destroy these businesses.
Well, there's also
they want to destroy them.
There's also another factor that I think plays into this. One of the problems with Obamacare. Remember, Obamacare has been around for a long time now, and I think we're seeing some of the effects of Obamacare. Obamacare allowed children to stay on their parents' health insurance till they were 25 years old if they lived at home and all of these things.
26.
26, you lost it, so you're 20. So people are not leaving home and moving out on their own.
A lot of people are staying home.
Because the benefits of the insurance and other things. So when I was young, I couldn't wait to get out of the house. And I was out of the house, 18, 19, I was gone. And I think that's what most people did.
Not anymore.
And now they're staying home till they're like 35. And I notice it. I've noticed this a lot in our neighborhood that some houses have so many damn cars out in front of them because the kids are staying at home till they're like 30.
Including ours.
Yeah. She's not 30. Our daughter lives at home too.
No, but she goes to school and she lives here.
Yeah, our daughter's 22. She lives at home. But some of these people, they're home till they're 25 or 30. Their girlfriends or boyfriends are living in there. I think some of them are married and have kids and are still living.
It's very European, honey.
Well, or lazy. Millennials don't want to move out. And they like to stay home. And
it's our fault.
Don't do anything.
And I've told you this.
They're bums.
Generation X blame us because we raised our parents raised us very differently. I mean, my parents were never home. They were working constantly and, had no problem leaving me home at 8 years old by myself. But our generation, I think we talk about this sometimes, why we're so coddling with our kids and why we became so like helicopter parent. And that's our whole generation has done this, has hovered. The helicopter parents hover. And I think a lot of it is the Adam Walsh generation, like you talked about. For me, when Adam Walsh was kidnapped and killed, that happened down here. So I don't know what kind of an impact it had nationally. It was a national story, and John Walsh became, who he is. But that happened when I was like 10, and that had a huge impact on my life. I became very paranoid and terrified at a very early age. I was left home alone by myself a lot because I had a single mother who worked and then would, go out with her friends at night. And I was home and I was I would literally hide in the closet. I was so scared. And there's a lot of insecurity for some reason with our generation, just the way we were raised and the way, because we were really the first generation that had to deal with divorce on such a massive scale and single parenting and being left home alone. So I think our generation, when we raised our kids, tried to compensate for that and over-parented our children. And this is just my feeling, and this is the result. Our children are less resilient. They don't handle adversity as well as we did because we had to. They stay at home longer. There's a more clingy relationship with the parents than there was when we were that age. I mean, you're right. I moved out when I was 19. I went to college, and that was it. And then I came home after college and lived at home for about a year till I got married. And that was about it. But it just seems with these younger people staying at home. But like I said, that's what they do in Italy. The kids stay at home. They live at home. They live with the grandparents. And then they get married and they all live in one big house. I mean, like I said, it's very European now.
Yeah, but I think in Europe, the adult kids were just the millennials and Gen Zs, the generation
they're
after,
into video games.
They're not into working. No. Now, this huge bombshell about Adam Schiff. Adam Schiff is probably the sleaziest, slimiest person ever to be in the Congress. And that's saying a lot.
He's certainly dishonest.
He is like insane. I mean, he will lie to your face and look you right in the eye and lie.
He's been caught lying many times.
Yeah, and he got busted. This story's all over the place.
This is in Breitbart.
He was doctoring text messages in his presentation that involved the January 6th committee and Mark Meadows.
Not the first time he's done this.
I mean, and he doctored them in many different ways and put this into the official congressional record. And what I don't understand is
he should be thrown out for
how he gets away with it. You know, people say, "Oh, well, he's a Democrat." You know, Nancy Pelosi censuring Republicans all the time for comments they make. This guy doctored evidence that's been entered into the congressional record.
Incredible.
In the January 6th committee hearings.
Hasn't he done this twice now? Didn't he do this a few years ago with something? And it's very subtle what he would do. He adds punctuation. He adds and takes away punctuation.
Yeah.
And he'll take things out of context and put them in a text, taking like few sentences away from the context of the entire text. And it's manipulative. Mm-hmm. What he's doing is manipulating evidence. And I don't understand now. I hope Mark Meadows' attorneys use this to throw this bullcrap out, because this right here in a normal trial, if the prosecutor tampered with evidence, he'd probably get disbarred and there would be a mistrial.
Well,
so let's see what happens.
You know, the January 6th committee is a kangaroo committee.
For sure.
Their conclusions have already been made.
Yep.
And that's just the way
Liz
it is.
Cheney is on a personal vendetta.
Yeah, and what they're doing with this is, you notice they're dragging this out. This committee's been together for months. They're dragging
it. It's going to go nowhere.
The reason they're dragging it out is they want this the January 6th committee and their fake findings. They want that to be part of the midterm election cycle.
Yeah.
And because after the first of the year, the midterm elections campaigns begin. And we're going to hear about this a lot after the first of the year, the January 6th committee. There's going to be very dramatic witnesses called, Bannon, Alex Jones, Meadows, and there's going to be all kinds of drama, and they're going to be shouting on TV. It's going to amount to nothing.
Nothing.
And I was shocked at how—
more wasted money.
I was shocked at something I heard on Tucker Carlson the other night about Liz Cheney. She's been in New Hampshire. She thinks she's going to run for president.
She's going to have Mike Pence as her VP.
She might, yeah.
Great,
yeah.
never going to happen.
And for her to be that delusional that she is. Now, I understand, who her father is, and she's part of the establishment, and they think they're saving the world from Donald Trump.
Yeah, that's what she thinks.
But to think that she's electable in the Republican Party in primaries to be running for president is insane.
She'll learn quickly. She's in her little Trump-hating bubble, like Joy Reid is in her white-hating bubble.
Yeah.
But as soon as she gets out of that bubble and goes out on the campaign trail, she's going to learn very, very quickly what the American people really think about her.
Yeah.
Very quickly.
Yeah.
Trump's going to get the nomination. Sorry, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I think they're underestimating his loyalty. And what they don't seem to understand is the more they try to destroy him and discredit him, the more loyal people are.
No doubt.
I've said this before. They've turned him into a folk hero because every time they try to tear him down, it doesn't work. He just gets stronger and stronger. It just builds him back up because there's nothing there. There's no there. They never find anything. They come out with these wild accusations. In the meantime, everybody on their side is getting jammed up and all these problems are coming to light. But with Trump, everything they accuse him, like they talked about his taxes, right? They've had his taxes for a year now? Nothing.
Nothing's
happened.
Yeah.
They keep throwing out these allegations that go nowhere.
The reason nothing's leaked out on Trump's taxes is because there's nothing there.
Exactly.
If they found something in them, believe me, it would have been out.
If there was anything that he was doing that was bad or shifty or illegal or anything, you don't think we'd know about it by now? They have investigated this guy. They have impeached him twice. They're turning him into like a Robin Hood type in a way where, you know what I mean? Where it's Trump against the establishment. And the more they try to tear him down, the stronger he gets, the more popular he gets.
Mm-hmm.
So keep it coming.
Yeah. And one thing though, I've told you guys this before. Liz Cheney is likely going to win her seat back in Wyoming.
Get out of town.
Well, the reason is the last time I saw this number may have changed. Last time I saw there were 4 or 5 people running in the Republican primary against her. And I'm assuming some of them are fake, fake Republicans, never Trumpers. And what's going on here is if we have, there only should be one Republican running against her, but if there's like 3, 4 of them, it splits the anti-Cheney vote in Wyoming. Her people are united. Our people are split in 3, 4 different ways. Yeah. And she'd go on to win the primary.
They monkey around and they add tons of people.
The Republican establishment are probably behind these other candidates to try to divide the MAGA vote. Listen, we're going to take our last break of the show. When we come back, there's a lot more to talk about. Do not go anywhere. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We'll be right back.
There's a podcast that you will want to add to your playlist, Warriors for Christ. That's the number 4. Warriors for Christ is a Christian podcast providing biblical teaching without the doctrines of man. In other words, they like to let the Bible explain itself. The format includes non-denominational readings and teachings from the Bible. They also have interviews and whatever the Lord puts on their hearts to present. Life in this world can be very stressful and filled with anxieties. Warriors for Christ will give you the biblical information you need to help deal with all life has to bring. Warriors for Christ confronts many false doctrines which are pervasive in this age and what some call the church in a box. And they also offer a full gospel ministry. Find Warriors for Christ on Podomatic, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Player FM, Stitcher, Deezer, Amazon Podcast, and Spotify. Warriors for Christ. Share the podcast on all of your social media so your friends can listen to Warriors for Christ. That's the number 4. Add it to your playlist right now. There's no doubt about it. Our lives revolve around our computers. We depend on them for work, school, communicating with friends, shopping, pretty much everything. So when they don't work properly, it's not only frustrating, it can even affect your income. BestPCRepair.com is always there to help you with your computer repair needs. They can help with laptop and desktop repair, software and hardware troubleshooting, computer upgrades, data recovery, hard drive replacement, and a whole lot more. BestPCRepair.com work with all PCs and laptops. And it's just not computer or IT fixes they can help you with. They also provide many businesses with website design, hosting, cloud solutions, and mobile phone and tablet support. Visit their website right now, bestpcrepair.com, and see how they can help you. Ask about their tech support packages for just $20 a month. bestpcrepair.com or call 877-203-2963. 877-203-2963. From author Jasmine Dubois comes the book Love Across the Ocean, available on the author's website, jasminedubois.com. Alina grows up a farmer's daughter in Moldova. She has dreams, but they're shattered when she finds out her parents have promised her to be wed to someone she doesn't love. One evening, she meets Michael, who is taking shelter from the rain in their barn. The evening before her arranged marriage, she elopes with Michael instead. One day, Michael vanishes to America. After waiting for Michael's return, she finally summons the courage to board a ship and catch up with him in New York. Alina believes she is following her dreams of moving to America and being reunited with her love. She's not prepared for what she finds. How will she deal with this situation, now an ocean away from home and in a new country? Her alternative is unexpected, but she does end up finding love and marriage, but with someone you would not expect. Love Across the Ocean is a story of resilience. We find that people aren't always who they seem to be. Sometimes Mother knows best, and there are always actions to take when your heart is shattered that will take you on the journey that was intended for you. Love Across the Ocean from author Jasmine Dubois. Order your copy right now on the author's website, jasminedubois.com.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at briancraigshow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. I was watching earlier Liz Wheeler on YouTube. You guys remember Liz Wheeler from One American News?
Oh,
and
yeah,
she's on
great.
YouTube now.
They should hire her on Newsmax.
Yeah, she's conservative. Her husband works in in the healthcare field. I don't know exactly what he does, but he lost his job over the mandate, and it happened without notice, she said. And she was talking about – she doesn't talk about her husband. They just had a baby this year.
Nurse or a doctor?
I have no idea.
But he wouldn't get vaccinated.
I guess so.
Yeah.
And she said it caught him off guard. They were not expecting it. I don't know what happened. And they've started discharging people from the military. And then I saw this story out of New York. Decorated Army veteran and others were arrested by the NYPD in the Cheesecake Factory after they refused to show their vaccine proof.
Oh yeah, New
at
York
the restaurant.
Throwing down all these vaccine really strict mandates. All of a sudden, they're like Germany over there now, or Australia.
Now this thing about passports. Yeah, in America,
that's crazy.
One of the things about America that makes America great is that we have the freedom to go where we want, when we want.
Yeah.
And
we did.
We don't need permissions and papers and all of this stuff. That's the kind of, like, if you watch the old movies that took place during the Cold War, and somebody's an undercover CIA spy and they're in East Berlin and they get stopped by the police, show me your papers.
Crazy.
And people, that's crazy. A guy come up to you in a leather jacket, show me your papers, and you have to show your papers.
Another reason to leave New York City.
And that's what's happening in this country today, and it's happening in New York.
Come to Florida.
In New York, New York is going to face a crisis. When the Soviet Union fell, they had a big problem. They had something in the Soviet Union after it fell called a brain drain. People that were skilled and educated left, and by the millions, the Soviet Union, and went to the West where they could make like a living, make good money. And what's happening in California, what's happening in New York is wealthy people, skilled people, educated people, people that are leaving and going to places like here in Florida or Texas where it's free.
Brian, this has been going on since the beginning of time. People migrating to other countries, other states, because the living conditions where they are so bad.
Not like this, okay? We're seeing the largest migration of people in this country from north to south.
I'd call it an exodus.
Since the Civil War was over. When the Civil War was over, many blacks left the South and went to the North en masse, and there were, there was mass migration there. We're seeing it, but what you're seeing in New York can't really take too much of this, because in New York, not only do they have federal income tax and state income tax, in New York City they also have city income tax. And the people that are leaving are the taxpayers. Yeah. The ones that are staying behind are not taxpayers. They're people that are taking. And they're losing in New York, and in New York City in particular, so many taxpayers that the government is at some point is going to have a massive crisis. Here in Florida, we have no state income tax, and our state has a surplus of money, even though we don't have a state income tax. Yeah. And New York City, in a couple of years, is going to have a major financial crisis. I remember once about 10 years ago, Rush was saying that there were 5 wealthy families that were basically supporting all of New York City.
Yeah, Trump was probably one of them.
Probably because of the taxes that they pay.
It's amazing
how people are leaving.
It's incredible to see how a once great city, how quickly it can devolve. Just from one politician. Well, de Blasio will be out soon. They're going to have this new mayor.
I don't trust this guy.
Let's see what he does with it. And I think people are kind of waiting to see what happens with this guy and how he handles things before they make any decisions. But like I said, I call it an exodus instead of a migration. People are fleeing Egypt and going into the desert because it's a hell of a lot better. And, you're going to see it in these big cities because people are absolutely fed up.
What's going to happen is the governments in places in California and in New York are going to go bankrupt because the people that are leaving and here in Florida.
Yeah, lots of revenue going away.
Here in Florida, after Christmas, after New Year's are when, we call them snowbirds.
Snowbirds, yeah.
We get snowbirds here after January 1st in Florida, and it's people from Canada and from, New York and Pennsylvania and other places that are cold come to Florida for the winter, and people usually wait until after the 1st because they want to spend Christmas with their families. But for the last year in regular time, summertime now, I see so many out-of-state license plates in Florida like you would not imagine.
I told you I saw on the news a few weeks ago that they said the snowbirds are moving here permanently.
They're not going back.
And we have a lot of Canadians, a lot of French Canadians in particular, but a lot of Canadians. My cousins come down in the winter. They have a house here. And in the summer, they're in Toronto. Here, they're in South Florida. And they're not moving here permanently, but a lot of Canadians are. And it's because they have said explicitly because of the way Canada handled the pandemic, the lack of freedom they had, the lack of movement. People want to have freedom of movement. They don't want to feel restricted or confined.
Yeah.
And I think when you have the government overreaching, I think it's a problem. And I think the best way to handle it is to say to people, look, there's a pandemic. We have to be careful. Please be considerate of your fellow man. We're not going to restrict you or have mandates, but please be considerate. Now, in New York, I haven't really followed up with it, but I've seen on the news that he has imposed this week massive mandates across the board, indoors, mask required. And I guess from what you said now, they're checking vaccines to go even into restaurants. I mean, here you have these restaurants in New York that took such a hit last year. I mean, they basically were shut down for a year. They lost thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands in revenue. And now they have to restrict again and have to turn people away.
There have even been, here in Florida, there are people that are restaurant owners in New York who have closed their restaurants down and moved them to Florida.
Yeah,
I've seen
smart.
this in our
because
local
we don't
papers.
have those restrictions here.
And here's the thing about all these things. We talked about this last year at the height of the pandemic. I told you guys, these Democrats are never going to give you your rights back. Democrats love power.
They do.
And they've got this new governor that came in after Cuomo. She's worse than him because she's got to prove, because she's a woman, she's got to prove, and so she's acting like Governor Whip. This is the thing about all this. People have changed the way they do things so much, washing their hands and doing other things. But I've noticed liberals are regressing. Like, we live in
Isn't it amazing how human behavior changes so quickly?
Now, we live in a Democrat majority county, but we're in the same county as President Trump lives in. We're in the same county as Mar-a-Lago. So even though it's considered a Democrat county, it's much more conservative than people realize. But just to the south of us is a very Democrat county. And just a mile or two away, we're like on the county line.
Yeah.
And if you guys follow me on YouTube, the other day, Kathy and I, we made a vlog that's on my YouTube channel where we went to the dollar store and to BJ's. And the dollar store is no more. It's the $1.25 store and soon to be the $1.50 store because of Biden. But what I didn't show you in the video, because I didn't really realize it at first until like we were kind of done, how many people were wearing masks. I don't even own a mask anymore. I don't even own a mask anymore. Yeah. And most of the people were wearing masks.
And they don't have to. But that's fine.
No, there's
if
no
they
mandate.
Want to,
well,
let them. I don't care.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing about it, because sometimes I get kind of a mixed feeling on what's going on here with this. And at first I was thinking about it that, these are Democrats because it's a liberal town we were in. They're all wearing masks. I mean, almost everyone's wearing a mask, and we're not. They're looking at us. I had a MAGA hat on too. A MAGA hat.
That doesn't help.
You go out in these liberal communities with a MAGA hat on and no mask. They look at you like they give you really dirty looks.
Well, the good thing about it is people will avoid you and they don't come near you.
Yeah, right. So, yeah,
so
exactly.
You're pretty
don't
safe.
Come near me. But
nobody be coughing on you.
My first thought was they wear the mask because they're afraid. They watch CNN, they watch MSNBC, they're afraid. But I didn't pick that up because what I noticed is if I walked by people, they didn't like step away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like during the pandemic last year.
I was just kidding. That's surprising.
Last year during the pandemic, if you were to walk too close to people, they'd walk away from you.
Yeah.
They weren't walking away from you.
No, I don't see that either anymore.
I think Democrats wear a mask as kind of like solidarity among Democrats. We're Democrats. We wear masks. Democrats are all into division, and yes. And they
make that distinction when they want people to know.
Yes.
When they go out in public that I
am a Democrat.
am a Biden supporter.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting.
Yeah, hey, listen, wear your masks. Be a Biden supporter. It's America.
Yeah, I don't care if you are or not.
But this business of passports to go into restaurants. Kathy's cousins were in town for Thanksgiving from Canada, and they were showing us their vaccine passports on their iPhones.
Yeah.
And
it's like an app or something.
I've never seen. Yeah, they got an app. It's a vaccine passport on their iPhone. They were showing them to us. They got to show this not just when they go in restaurants, but when they go into stores, when they go into grocery stores, when they go to retail stores.
And it's going to be like that for a long time.
It's going to be like that forever in these Democrat places. It's going to be that way for a generation.
Crazy. Until we get, when it'll stop, hopefully.
When Republicans control everything.
That's right. When we turn over the House, and I think we will because of these mandates. We have to change the elections, and it has changed. We have to elect Republicans, and we have to get these crazy liberals out of office because they are mad with power, you said, and they're never going to stop. It's going to be another variant.
Yep.
Now they have this Omicron, which they have said many, many times. Even Fauci has said it's very mild.
Yeah.
But because of it, they're instilling more mandates in New York, even though this is mild.
It's the never-ending pandemic.
Never ending.
Well, listen, we're out of time, but we'll be back next time. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Thanks for listening.
From author J.M. Doyle comes your next must-read book, A Million Tiny Lights, available on Amazon. In A Million Tiny Lights, Davis Malone has a secret that's controlled his life for more than 20 years. Witnessing a murder at the age of 13 has created emotional cargo that's traveled with him throughout his life. As he approaches marriage, he's fighting to work through the trauma of losing his first wife and 2 young children in an automobile accident. He's faced with a monumental decision and the continual threat of Sheriff Trent Horn, who's determined to prevent him from sharing what he witnessed. The weight of his burden keeps him confused and afraid. Davis is a former star athlete in the small Georgia town of Willis and currently the revered football coach for Magnolia County High School. Now he fights to start anew and agonizes over sharing this secret that threatens to not only ruin his life and the lives of those he loves, but could bring down an entire community. A Million Tiny Lights from author J.M. Doyle is perfect for book clubs. Available in Kindle and paperback on Amazon.